think I'm videoing. All right, so the things that make you go, All right, so I'm excited about mixing again. You know, I got to tell you, I've had my ups and downs with mixing. And I've gone through phases where I've really applied myself and then like really it wasn't into it anymore. But I've got all these records to mix over the summer. So my head is into it and kind of revamped. I've been revamping this mix template for the last week or so and simplifying it, and then also kind of watching it's like how real do you want to get on a YouTube video? I could see where like sometimes I get lazy, right? So then I just set up a bunch of subs, bus subs or whatever, and then put all the effects on there and then just run it, or all the compression, EQ, and then run everything in and don't do anything individual. So yeah, I don't know if that's really going to be jiving anymore. My friend Nate came over yesterday and we were, I flew in the template and I had set up one of my songs and we did a mix on it. I mean, he really did the mix and I just kind of was watching and asking him questions and I said, and then because I've been watching a couple of these Chris Lord Alge Waves videos of like behind the the inside of his mixing, and it's pretty much the same kind of thing. It's it takes more time, but yeah, there you go. So what I've got here is when we got done with the mix, it sounded nice, and I just took that and kind of made a template out of that. So these are going to be tracks. So kick in, we'll have like. And these are all starting points, but these are good points. These are good places, and a little bit of that guy kick out. Mostly gating and cutting out all the high end snare top. Yeah, that was just for that specific snare. So you really would come here and go. Oh, no, you'd go here. You'd go factory. You'd get rid of that. You don't need that. And and that's another one. You could come here and go factory and just get rid of it. It's just there. It's just a little jumping off point. And then you come to tom. So I set up, again, as you can tell, I haven't totally finished this. This was the EQ for the toms, and again, it wasn't like trying to do a finished mix for a client or something. It was just like, let's get this thing banging. Yeah, the toms are real quick. That JST is awesome. That thing is nice. Yep. So it's consistent, and then the way it's set is all the kick in, kick out, and kick trigger are bussing to the kick sub, and then snare top, snare bottom, and snare trigger are bussing to snare sub. And that was the other thing. I switched all my subs to stereos, except for the triggers. They are mono to stereo because they take in a mono track, but everything now is stereo. Very consistent. And again, it's been like it's taken me a week or so to go through this. The other thing that we did, which is so now you got your kick sub, your snare sub, your tom sub, and then all of the overs and everything are going through the drum bus, like ride and everything, and then all of these kick, snare, and tom are all going into the drum crush, which is like fatso, but then all of these are going into the drum sub. which is really good. Like you realize, like, oh, this is just like my volume control for my drums now. Very simple, and each one of these is laid out the same way. It's crush sub, so you go to bass here and you've got crush sub, same colors too. And then you go to like acoustic guitar, just really has a sub. I don't have a crush on it. And then guitars are right. The guitars and keys are all going out to. I just finished this last night, so bear with. Yeah, to the bus, but then they're also shooting over to the crush, which is like a parallel, and then the parallel is going to the bus. So it's the same thing. And what I did was I just put one track of each. Like here's the acoustic track, and this was the basic setup that we had for acoustic guitars, and then electric guitars, this was the basic setup. So just so it gives me a thing where I can just drag these over onto whatever tracks, and then it gives me kind of a generic. And then on the subs here I've got, you know, this, which has nothing right now. So it's going to be more processing on the physical track. I did notice that that was I get this. That was how like Chris was doing it. I watched some of his videos, and yeah, he was doing a lot of processing on the tracks themselves. So, you know, I think the thing with me is like I just can't be lazy. I've got to take my time. It may take a little more time, but I think the results will be better. And then vocals here. This is vocal 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it could be like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, and those I will be doing some more treatment on the track. I don't know how I'm going to work this. I think this I want to do. Yeah, because this is going to be like a voc and a double. So this really would have more, let's just say for argument's sake, because we're arguing, we go like this. We bring over a fab at 0. We bring over an 1176 with no. Well, yeah, because here's the vocal track itself. Yeah, let's get rid of that. It's like we're flying with that one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. It may be a thing where and then you know what I want to do? I love this plugin. Let me find it. Look at this plugin is so great. If I could just get to it. Like compressor. This is really nice, the IK. So what I'll do is I'm going to put these across all 4 of the vocal subs. But again, everything's just dead. So if I use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't. But going to be definitely more treatment on, and then I got an L1 at the bottom. You know, just in case, like, especially if we're doing like hardcore, like new metal type of stuff, or pop, where you just want that thing just grrr. And it's the same thing. All the vocal subs are going to the bus, and then they're also here through these buses. They're going to the crush, and then the crush is going to the vocal bus. So again, there's mute vocals. And then I've got the same thing here with BGV. I got a crush and a bus, which I don't know. I don't know totally that. I may almost take and start using like Voc 4 as BGVs. I don't know if I'm going to be using this much more. Hello? Oh, you scared me. Don't let me forget to cut that out of the video. All right, and then there it is. And then the master we were kind of messing with. Um, this was basically a recreation of the chain I had with the GML and the Obsidian. Obsidian! And then, yeah, I don't know about that. We don't really need that, probably. Well, we'll just leave it there. And then center. He really likes that. And then this is bypass, but that would be like your final limiter. And then, you know, there's your meters. And then we've got a grit track, which a number of things are going to. It's like a bus of just decapitator. And in front of these, I like to put this gain in front of these plugins, because sometimes you're just not hitting the plugin hard enough, and it makes it like here. So let's go to these drum. And the other thing we used, but I'm trying to keep. That's the other thing I'm getting this. They're just 0, but it just gives you an opportunity to just, if you're hitting it too soft, to just, and then boom. So you don't have to have all the buses on the tracks or the subs just slamming. So I'm not going to get into what he did, because this is his thing, but he got these emulations of these amazing reverbs, and they really are good. Whoa. And then he just used space and just threw them in there. Some of them have photos. Some of them have photos. None of those have photos. Maybe. I know there's a photo in here. Yeah, there's a photo in here. But basically, we've got drum effects, which is like a drum eventide, a Rev 1, an EMT, a Bricasti, and an AMS. And then we've got the grit track, which I think like the drum bus is going to the grit track, the bass bus is going to the grit track. Maybe even put a little of the guitar. We even put a little of the vocal bus into the grit track, but I don't know. That's, you know, depends on what you want. And then a specific acoustic guitar reverb, and then space. This was really nice on guitars. Yeah, there you go. It's like a little, you know. So, and a vocal verb, a short delay, a long delay, and a modulation. Yeah, I think we had little sound toys. So anyway, a repeater, a little H delay, which seems to be running good. For a while there, H delay was kind of weirdly glitchy. And I don't know if I tried to reinstall. I didn't know what was going on. I don't know. We couldn't figure it out. But there it is. So there's your basic setup. So I can fly these in over the drum tracks, and then I've got everything laid out, and then it's just a matter of massaging it. I've got my trigger tracks set up, which I got trigger working. And I did the update, and I somehow went into trigger hell. But yeah, trigger is working. Got my Andy Wallace kick. And I don't know, this is I think that's a CLA maple snare. But that's it. Yeah, so we can like get rid of this stuff here. Yeah, a little JST. He really likes that. This is like that thing I learned kind of from the Sheps videos about bumping the 220. Oh yeah, this one here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it on there. I'm kind of really going for less, just simpler. I think it'll be better for me. But there you go. So I've got new songs that are starting. One of them we've already started. Let me do this. Command Shift U. Let me save this. I'll open this real quick. We got a couple of minutes here. New music. Gotta have a new music. JoJo. So this needs guitars, and I want to put like a synth thing in it and some lead stuff. And this is like, you know, these are like 2-minute kind of for sync little jams, and then we're going to I'm going to mix this. So, but this was with Superior. So it's going to be cool though. get the gist of it. Yeah, I don't have it going through the system, so you're just going to hear it through the Blue Yeti, but you get the gist of it. But that's what's happening, man. So, and then also, one other thing I'm going to do here real quick. So I put out that video about guitar cabs, open, closed. A lot of comments. Nobody seemed to like the open one except for me. So somebody, Rezo guy said, hey, why didn't you, or somebody said, why don't you put up an EQ so we can see what they look like? So here we go. So here, Merry Christmas. So here is the closed back with the 77. And honestly, this is a little too bright. I was experimenting leading up to it, and the cab was like perpendicular or whatever to the wall, and I was getting too much like womp on it, so I was backing it off. But then when I kicked it off, it was like, oh, that sounds real good. But then it was like a little too bright, so probably. Yeah, maybe more like that, but yeah, as opposed to this. It doesn't matter, right? So now, here's the closed back, the look of it. And the open back. I think I was the only person that liked the way that sounded. I think that sounds cool, but people are like, oh, it doesn't have enough body at low end. So you've got all this here on the, all this like, whatever, 140, 160 on the closed back. And then you come here and you go back to that kind of 140 area. I think that sounds cool, but it's apples and oranges, right? So there it is. There's the look of it. Here's the closed back. Open back. Oh man, I think that sounds cool, but I seem to be a minority on that one. But that's okay. All right, kids. So that's the end of this video because I got to go teach.